Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to this festive review. But before I talk about the film that I've selected today, I just wanted to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a fantastic time with you and your loved ones. We're less than a week away from the big day, so I just thought I'd hide that out there. But the film that I'm about to talk about, it is a film that I heard a little bit of buzz about prior to maybe 3-4 weeks ago. I didn't even know this film was getting made or anything about it. And then it was finally released on Netflix, and then suddenly I heard a lot of buzz about it. So going into Christmas, I always have a selection of my favourite movies. I reviewed my favourite Christmas horror movie, which was Krampus. I talked about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I've got a few more that I need to watch leading into Christmas, of course, to Home Alone's 1 and 2, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and a few others. But this particular film is something that I was looking forward to viewing and reviewing leading into Christmas, because as you know, every year we get a handful of well-known new Christmas movies, and this was one of them that wasn't on my radar that suddenly got high on my radar. And so this film is called Carry On, and as you can see, it stars Taron Egerton, who is quite a well-known name now within Hollywood. He starred in the Kingsman film franchise. He starred as Elton John in the Elton John biopic, and he's a very good actor. In my opinion, he just sometimes I think he needs to think out of the box and pick bigger, better roles for himself. The Kingsman films are fine. It shows a mixture of action and humour. Elton John, he did fantastic at. And this film really, really surprised me with him in it. So prior to talking about it, let's talk a little bit about what Carry On is all about. So first and foremost, Carry On is a 2024 American action thriller film directed by Jaume Collet-Serra and written by T.J. Fixman. The film stars Taron Egerton, Sofia Carson, Danielle Deadwyler, and Jason Bateman. Its plot follows a young TSA officer who is blackmailed into letting a nerve agent aboard a flight during Christmas Eve. And this film had a budget of 47 million. So what can I tell you about this movie? I quite enjoyed it. I cannot lie, I did. I went into this completely blind. I didn't have much knowledge of this movie, but the first thing that I immediately noticed when it came to Carry On, it is 100% a tribute and nostalgia ride into classic 1980s and early 1990s action films. It definitely sets the tone more along the lines of Die Hard 2. So Die Hard 2, as you know, busy airport, chaotic, people trying to get home to families, horrendous snowstorm, terrorists attack the airport, take over the airport, chaos consumes, and then, of course, John McClane comes into the rescue. Now, this film very much has a similar feel, but it's much more not on the action elements. I would say more on the nerve-wracking, atmospheric tenseness than an action movie. But this film has a number of action sequences that I didn't see coming, that I was really surprised and thoroughly enjoyed. So let's talk a little bit about the cast. So, like I mentioned before, you have Taron Egerton as Ethan Kopech, who is a young, you know, he's a dropout from the police force, or he failed to pass, his test at the police department to make himself a police officer. And so he takes up a job as a TSA agent in the airport. And he has a young girlfriend or a young wife who he now discovers is pregnant. And basically, he's been kind of messing around or floating about with no real direction in his life, when suddenly, when he discovers his girlfriend is pregnant or his wife is pregnant, I can't remember if they were married or not. Sofia Carson plays Nora, his girlfriend, who is higher up in the airport than him. And he suddenly gets like a wake up call that, he needs to step up, he needs to try and better himself, or he needs to find a stronger position within the team, within the airport, get like maybe a supervisor's role, so he can support this upcoming child and his partner. And during this time, he goes out there and he attempts to prove himself. He asks, for more opportunities in the airport. He asks if he can have, a bigger challenge, which is the work on the conveyor belt and to do the security checks, but which can be probably very, very stressful during Christmas time. So he gets that opportunity. And this is where you're introduced to Jason Bateman's character, who is simply known as the Traveller. Suddenly there is a box dropped off. When the box is dropped off, there's simply this little earpiece in it. He inserts the earpiece, and suddenly Jason Bateman's character, the Traveller, begins to communicate with him, saying, "You have to do everything I say, or there's going to be a lot of people killed, including your girlfriend." And it's a game of cat and mouse between him and Jason Bateman. And honestly, the chemistry between them two, the dialogue between them two, the way that they interact with each other just via hearing the voice of Jason Bateman and the facial expressions of Taron Egerton's character, it works. It works superbly. It really, really does. And the character of Nora, who is a strong character, and it's a strong female character, and she's like pottering about the airport, unaware of these events that are transpiring around her. You're then introduced to a number of other characters as the plot thickens, and this kind of Jason Bateman's character is wanting this package to be put through the security without triggering any warning, so it can, be then boarded onto a flight, which, leads to even bigger surprises, bigger trouble. And when that part passes, you're then introduced to a character known as Elena Cole, who was played by Danielle, Deadwyler, who is like an agent, like a FBI agent, who is very much aware that there is some sort of event taking place within the airport. And she is a brilliant character. Danielle Deadwyler, who plays this Elena Cole, really does a good job in, playing this very strong female character. And then there's another character who was working alongside the Traveller, who is simply just known as he's known as the Watcher. So the Watcher is basically, he's controlling all of the cameras in the airport. He's got his eye on the prize, which is to help the Traveller to complete their mission, to create this event, this terrorist they want to see happen. So there's a lot of twists and turns throughout the plot. There's a lot of tense moments. You can see the sheer kind of stress and the sheer anxiety, the sheer fear in the face of Taron Egerton's character's face, and he does it so well. He really delivers as this character. So, as the plot progresses, you do see just some really strong, tense moments, like I say, between Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton's character. Like, Jason Bateman really delivers as the traveler. Like, he's not very imposing. He's not really, terrifying, but he's very cold. He's very sarcastic at times as well, but he's very straight to the point, and he has a mission, and he's very cold and calculated with it. The Watcher, I thought, was a really strong character as well, even though he doesn't really have much of a role. He's played by Theo Rossi. So Theo Rossi really delivers as well as the Watcher. You also have a couple of well-known faces in this movie. You'll recognise this character, which is the actor Dean Norris. He plays Phil Sikorsky. So Phil Sikorsky is the leader and the command and chief of the TSA in the airport. Basically, he's making sure that everything runs smoothly and that there's no issues. There are a few other characters that are introduced, which I don't really want to talk about because it might give away things within the plot. But the honestly, the ones that stand out and the ones that deliver are definitely Taron Egerton's character, Ethan Kopek, and in the Traveller, played by Jason Bateman. Them two are very strong leads in this. Now, that is the plot. The plot is basically cat and mouse games between, those two characters trying to outsmart each other, one's trying to get the job done, the other one's trying to stop the job from being done. And in the middle, you have all these characters that are really interacting and really trying. Some of them are totally unaware of the events transpiring around them, and some of the other ones actually enhance the anxiety, the intenseness, the drama, the adrenaline. They actually enhance it all. Now, when it comes to the film itself, I would definitely say this is a pleasant surprise. It is a film that's been made for streaming for Netflix, and it was made, I think I said, for 48 million, and I think it's a budget well spent. I think there are two major action sequences in this film. There is the car scene, there is the scene on the conveyor belt, which were really, really well shot and well done. The one in the car may come across kind of crazy, and some people may think that was just OTT. I thoroughly, because I didn't see it coming, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely nostalgia ride to past movies, and for me, it hits the mark for a good old streaming movie to watch over Christmas. It definitely delivered where it needed to deliver. Just the sheer performances, like I say, by Jason Bateman and Taron Egerton really sells this movie for me. And this probably shows you what you can do with a great plot, great actors, great characters with chemistry, and of course, a decent script. The script in this I thought was decent. Where I would say the film is let down is, it doesn't go over the top enough in terms of the way Die Hard did, in terms of believable factor. For me, this is more realistic and believable than probably what we had in Die Hard. But that's probably my only critique, is that they didn't go too OTT with this, and they didn't, go over the top where it was like, too crazy. It was like they knew how far to go, in that they didn't go over the top, in that, it felt like they were frightened to take it to that level in case, people would switch off or people wouldn't want to watch it because, Die Hard and all those classic 80s and 90s movies, it's based in a real world setting, but then it's all make believe, and it all kind of is. People are like, will shriek, they'll shake their head and go, "This is over the top. This is crazy." But it's a thrill ride. It's something that they thoroughly enjoy. Die Hard you can watch year after year. Die Hard 2 you can watch year after year, and I think they were frightened to take it to that level, to that like craziness level. And I think that's my only critique for this, is that it takes it so far in terms of the action and the stunt work and all of that, but then it kind of doesn't go to the next level of the crazies, which I think if it did that a little bit more and they tweaked it, this film would probably be getting a lot more buzz than it has. And also, like I say, it's made for Netflix. It is a streaming movie, but it's a great streaming movie. It's a streaming movie that deserves attention. Now, there was another movie that came out, and I think the bickered or they couldn't make their mind up. Should we put it in theatres or should we put it direct to Amazon? And that was Red One. Now, for me, I never seen this in theatres. I waited till it was on streaming on Amazon, and I can very much tell you, I'm glad I didn't waste a buck on that for the theatres, and I watched it on Amazon, because that is the difference between Carry On and Red One. Carry On had a decent budget, delivered a decent story with decent characters, decent script, and was a fun ride. And then you got Red One, which had like a 200 million budget, over the top special effects, an okay script, an okay story, but it's forgettable for me. Where Carry On, I probably will still remember, and I'll probably watch it next Christmas as well. That is the difference. It just proves that as long as you've got great writing, good actors with good chemistry with each other, they can deliver a great story in a great film. Now, is Carry On the level of the Die Hard movies? No. But it is still a decent Christmas actioner that I think everyone needs to give a shout out to and give an opportunity to. It definitely, for me, had me at times on the edge of my seat when it came to more of the drama and more of the, like I say, the anxiety. The scenes that give me anxiety and the tenseness, and you know, sitting on the end of my seat thinking, "Oh, what's going to happen here?" The action scenes aren't as rememberable as, say, the action scenes in Die Hard, but you don't see them coming, and when they do come, they shock you, and that's what I liked about it. If I have to rate Carry On, I'm definitely going to give this a 7 out of 10. Now, 7 out of 10 for great script, great characters, decent story, work well with the budget, and it's a film that I think will become a fan favourite during the holiday seasons for years to come. The only negatives is when it came to the action, when it came to, taking it over the edge or taking it over the top. I think they were frightened to do it, and so they kept it simple, but it works. It works. So that's just my opinion on Carry On. That's just my opinion on the characters, the actors, the film itself. I hope you guys, like I say, have a fantastic Christmas. I hope you have a brilliant time with you and your loved ones. I'll catch you after Christmas for one more stream, which is the Retro Classic Movie Show, where I'll be reviewing We Come in Peace. And then after that, I'll catch us all in the new year. But as I always say, keep on enjoying your movies and keep on enjoying all things entertainment. And I'll catch us all at the next one.